Legend has it that from 1504 to 1508, Michelangelo ate just once a day and refrained from brushing his teeth or even taking baths for weeks. I know what you're thinking. That's me in football season. However, Michelangelo's goal was not to sit down and watch 22 fit strong men run around, while those who actually needed the exercise sat down to watch them. The fruits of his labor adorn the 12,000 square foot ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. A lot has changed since then. No one spends even 4 minutes, let alone 4 years, focused on a single task. Hey, I listen to music, change my status on an ever-changing Facebook, and can still churn out 3 to 4 pages of double-spaced, Times New Roman gibberish. However, the New Atlantis of Spring 2008 reports that office workers, distracted by emails and phone calls, it takes them an average of 25 minutes to recover from these tasks and return to their original task. Multitasking is a concept that has a cult following among college kids and corporate clowns, leading to poor papers and collapsing corporations. Hence, we need to understand that multitasking is not a blessing designed to magically boost your performance, but a curse that could end all life on Earth. Granted, that's the worst case scenario. So let's take a classic trip through the ADS trifecta of problems, causes, solutions. But relax, we are going to go through this one thing at a time. Initially, multitasking creates 2 problems for the 21st century Homo sapiens. First, multitasking causes people to lose focus, and second, multitasking kills people. But first, multitasking causes people to lose focus, because multitasking is like playing tennis with 3 balls at the same time. You're hitting a lot of shots, but none of them are actually crossing the net. Edward Hallowell, in his book Crazy Busy, explains that we tend to lose focus when we opt to make activities more interesting through multitasking. Half the time, we don't know what we're doing or how we're doing it, but somehow we've just done it. And that explains teen pregnancy. Second, just like going overtime, multitasking kills. The week of March 3rd, 2009 reports that Janine Compton from Dayton, Ohio got a citation for breastfeeding her child while talking on the phone, and yes, driving. What kind of boob does that? The NPR of October 16, 2008 reports that driving under the influence of cell phones or even using headsets slows down our reactions and makes us miss a lot of things in our visual periphery. A symptom similar to being legally drunk or a technology-induced beer goggle. Multitasking is like heroin, strains your cognitive abilities and endangers lives, but is considered totally cool. The BBC of February 2nd, 2009 reports that Philippa Curtis was sent to jail for sending 20 text messages before she crashed her car and killed a guy who was fixing his flat tire. It's all fun and games until somebody gets killed. The concept of multitasking is problematic because it causes people to lose focus and can be fatal. So when we return to today's research question, why do I have a research question in my ADS? No, it's not because CAs are funny, but because I wrote this speech at the same time I wrote my CA. But don't worry, nobody died, other than this joke. The effects of multitasking can be seen by looking at our brains and our society. Initially, multitasking causes our brain to jerk around like an epileptic with ADD on a sugar rush. Multitasking causes our brain to jerk around. Multitasking causes our brain to jerk around like an epileptic with ADD on a sugar rush. The New York Times of October 24, 2008 reports that when we are multitasking, our brain is switching back and forth between each task, and it has to learn, forget, and relearn the rules of each task. This inhibits our ability to process information, thereby decreasing efficiency and increasing mistakes. We don't need 8 more years of that. A study conducted by the Institute of Psychiatry at the University of London found out that office workers distracted by emails and phone calls suffer an IQ drop twice as much as that of marijuana smokers. However, twice as much as marijuana smokers. Michael Phelps never swims and smokes pot at the same time because he knows, and knowing is half the battle. While the evil genius that is multitasking doesn't settle for anything less than world domination. It seems as if our entire society is built around the concept of multitasking. The iPhone allows you to talk on the phone, text messages, download porn, play video games, and even make flatulence noises, all while driving, or talking on the phone, or sitting in a room not listening to. John Lawrence in his blog posted on December 21st, 2008 reports
Keep that focus.
John Lawrence in his blog posted on December 21st, 2008 reports that our civilization has a working relationship with technology on a scale never seen before. While it's possible to legally divorce your car, it's ethically impractical to break up with your browser. Mozilla Firefox. Who uninstalled you? This inherent dependence on technology has led us to a point where we are more addicted to multitasking than Angelina Jolie is to adoption. While our civilization and our brains are affected by multitasking, it looks like our society is on the brink of making a huge mistake. Like the time Jesus was killed, or when Ugg boots were invented. Fortunately, unlike the auto industry, there is hope. Solutions can be seen on personal and social levels. On a personal level, please write to your congressperson and ask them not to multitask. They seem to find it difficult to separate between boring lecture and important congressional meeting. The Huffington Post of February 25th, 2009 reports that when President Obama gave his State of the Union address, all congresspersons are transfixed. The reason? They were twittering. It's okay to text in class, but to Twitter in a congressional session? I mean, why should elected representatives pay attention to what the President of the United States is saying?
Representative.
It's not like we are facing a war or an economic emergency.
Emergency. That's great.
Emergency!
Or an emergency.
Emergency. It's not like we're facing a war or an economic emergency.
Time.
It's not like we're facing a war or an economic emergency. As the guys in Washington seem to have their hands full, that's what she said, it's up to us to combat multitasking through single tasking. Zen Habits in their website updated daily reports that through single tasking, we can focus on a single task. That's probably where they got their name from. Through single tasking, we can pay more attention to each of our tasks, thereby increasing the quality of work and reducing stress levels. In order to correct the fragmentation of our minds and memories, we can use a device known as a hipster PDA, or scrap paper to make to-do lists. The social solution to multitasking is like a hot new fashion trend. Seems foolish if one person does it, but if everybody follows along, it could become the next bell-bottoms, zoot suit, or hippie headband. We need to shift our societal values. We need to say no to multitasking and yes to single tasking. And more importantly, we need to look at multitaskers with the same disdain we hold for drunk drivers, pedophile priests, or preview punts. Look, if you think simple multitasking is okay, now is the time to change your attitude. We need to say no to multitasking. Yes to single tasking. I'm going on this again. Looks. Look, if you think simple multitasking is okay, now is the time to say no to multitasking. At one point of time, we thought smoking was safe, radium a wonder drug, or voting Republican was completely harmless. But now we know better. Today, we looked at the problems, causes, and solutions of multitasking. So, I know what you're thinking. I get it, Sarvesh, multitasking is bad. But why should I care? It's not like I'm smelly or paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. But then again, maybe if you're not multitasking, maybe you could achieve something just as magnificent.